Imagine this. You're a rising star at work. You're outperforming everyone, getting results, making waves. But then, without warning, you hit a wall. Your promotions slow down. Colleagues start acting differently. You feel isolated. What happened? You might have broken one of the oldest, most dangerous rules of power. Never outshine the master. Now, this might sound like outdated advice from a medieval court, but trust me, it's as relevant today as it was in the days of emperors and kings. In fact, it's more relevant than ever in our hyper-competitive world, where every move is being watched, every word is being weighed, and every success is being measured against those in power. Why this rule still matters. Let me take you back to ancient Rome, to the story of Julius Caesar and his once trusted lieutenant, Pompey the Great. Caesar and Pompey were both powerful generals, allies who conquered vast territories together. But when Caesar's star started rising too quickly, Pompey felt overshadowed. His influence began to wane, and the Senate, fearing Caesar's power, sided with Pompey. The result? Civil war. And we all know how that ended. Caesar crossed the Rubicon, declared himself dictator, and Pompey was eventually assassinated. Lesson: when you make those in power feel small, threatened, or insecure, they will almost always strike back hard. Why outshining the master is so dangerous. But this isn't just about ancient Rome. This rule plays out in every office, every organization, and every friendship. When you outshine someone with power, your boss, a senior colleague, or even a friend with influence, you trigger a primal, deeply rooted fear of being replaced or overshadowed. Psychologists call this the threat response. It's a reflex that kicks in when people feel their status or dominance is under attack. And once that fear sets in, they'll do everything in their power to cut you down, isolate you, or worse, remove you entirely. The Tesla trap. Take Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors in history. He once worked for Thomas Edison, the powerhouse of American innovation. Tesla was brilliant, no doubt, but he made a critical error. He openly challenged Edison's ideas and, in doing so, threatened Edison's status as the reigning genius of his time. The result? Edison cut him off, blocked his funding, and spent years undermining Tesla's work. While Tesla died nearly penniless, Edison's name became a household word. Corporate parallel. This happens in the modern workplace too. Maybe you've seen it. The talented new hire who pushes too hard, too fast, and suddenly finds themselves sidelined, excluded from meetings, or buried in busy work. Or consider a modern corporate power play, like the infamous battle between Steve Jobs and John Sculley at Apple. Jobs brought in Sculley, a Pepsi executive, to help run the company. But when Jobs' vision started to eclipse Sculley's more traditional management style, a power struggle erupted. Sculley, feeling overshadowed, pushed Jobs out of his own company. The subtle signs you're outshining the wrong person. So, how do you know if you're accidentally triggering this threat response? Here are a few subtle signs. You start getting excluded. You're suddenly left out of important conversations or meetings. Credit goes missing. Your ideas get implemented, but someone else gets the praise. Negative feedback increases. Little things that were never a problem before suddenly become issues. Cold shoulders and silent treatment. People you once got along with start acting distant. Backhanded compliments or passive aggression. You start getting those thinly veiled digs like, "Oh, you're really trying to impress the boss, huh?" The psychology behind the threat response. Here's why this happens. Humans are wired for status. Our brains have ancient circuits designed to protect our social standing because, historically, losing status meant losing access to resources, alliances, and even survival. When you unknowingly challenge someone's status, their brain kicks into survival mode. They perceive you as a threat, a rival, someone who might undermine their position. This is why people in power often surround themselves with loyal subordinates, not potential competitors. It's not just about competence, it's about control. How to avoid this trap without holding back. Now, I'm not saying you should dim your light or play small. That's not the solution. The key is learning how to shine without casting a shadow over those above you. Here's how. 1. Shine sideways, not up. Focus your brilliance outward, not upward. Instead of challenging your boss's expertise, build alliances with your peers, juniors, or other departments. Become the connector, the person who adds value across the organization without directly threatening the power structure. 2. Be a team player, but smart about it. Contribute in ways that make the whole team look good. Use phrases like "we did this" or "our team pulled this off" rather than "I did this." This makes your superiors feel secure while still positioning you as a key player. 3. Create a buffer of loyalty. Build strong, mutually supportive relationships at multiple levels. This way, if someone tries to cut you down, you have allies who will back you up. This is the modern equivalent of having a loyal army. Real-world example, the Steve Jobs approach. Steve Jobs was a master at this. Despite being a visionary, he didn't just shine up. He built loyal teams around him. He let people like Johnny Ive, Apple's legendary designer, take the spotlight for product design, making Ive feel valued and secure, while Jobs focused on his own brand as the ultimate innovator. 4. When you must shine, be strategic. Of course, there are times when you can't avoid the spotlight, when you have to step up and show your worth. In these cases, be strategic. Share the stage. Give others a chance to share in your success. It reduces their insecurity. Frame it as their victory. If you're pushing a big idea, find a way to link it back to your boss's vision or goals. Make them feel like it's a win for them, too. Stay humble, stay sharp, avoid arrogance. Nothing triggers the threat response faster than the scent of overconfidence. Final thought, the long game. Remember, in every power structure, the long game is about staying in the game. If you burn too bright, too fast, you risk being snuffed out. Instead, think like a chess player, always planning a few moves ahead, keeping your real power hidden until the moment is right.